So today, as we know that the topic for today is misery, its cause and cure. So whenever we think of our life, when we see our life in a very deep way, we always see that in our life there is something which we want to get, which we want to achieve, and in spite of all our hard effort and everything, we are not able to procure it, we are not able to get it. And the more we desire for it and the more we fail, the more frustrations we get and the more miserable we get. So that is one thing we must always know, that as I was talking about Buddha, that Lord Buddha said that what is the cause of your suffering? There he answered that your desire is the cause of your suffering. Now, when we look at ourselves in our life, we see that we have endless desires. The desires in us, they are endless. There is no end to it. And we try one after another, maybe we fail in one, then we go for the next, we strive for another, then we go for the next, and this goes on. This goes on in our life. And we see that the more we are attached to our desires, the more we suffer. There are many things which we desire, but the desires are not very, it's not very, we don't die for it. So when we don't die for those desires, what we see is that we suffer less. We suffer less. So the main thing is that if we are attached, we get sufferings. We suffer. The more we are attached, we suffer the more. And as I was telling, that we see in the lives of the great souls, the self-realized souls, that they are praying to the Almighty. And what is their prayer? The prayer is that, "O Mother, please let me enjoy the bliss." So enjoying bliss is not so easy. It is not so easy. Even the self-realized person, and not only the self-realized person, even God incarnates, they are praying. So how costly it is that God incarnates are praying for that. So if we think that in our life will be full of happiness, it will be full of bliss, then we are mistaken. Then we are mistaken. We have to know the process, the technique by which we can enjoy this bliss. But firstly, we have to know what is the cause of our misery. And the cause of our misery, because when we know the cause, as it is said, that if the disease can be diagnosed, then the cure is half done. So the disease is, what is the disease? My attachment. My attachment is the disease. And in our life, we see this. Maybe there is a friend of mine who is, okay, he is a friend, just a friend, and he just, stops talking with me, stops meeting me, and it's okay. I don't care much about that. I'm not so much tormented or troubled by that, because I was not so much attached to that friend of mine. But suppose there is a friend who is very dear and very near to me, and he stops talking to me and stops seeing me, stops communicating, stops interacting. My life goes chaotic. It seems that the world has stopped, and we feel that my life has no meaning, there is nothing in my life, and we feel all sort of things. Now there was that first friend to whom I was not so much attached. He also did the same thing, but it did not trouble me much. The second friend to whom I was attached did the same thing, but my life became hell. Why did my life become hell? Because I was attached to my friend so much so that I thought that without my friend my life is not worth living. At times even some of us give up our lives, sadly. What is the cause? Just one: attachment. The cause is attachment. And in our life there are plenty of such examples where I see that my attachment is the cause of my sorrow. We do it. We do it again and again, but we cannot recognize that. And even if we can recognize, the beautiful and the most ironic part is that even if we recognize, then what do I see? My mind gives certain various sorts of excuses to make that feel that no, what I am doing is quite good. That means I am illusioned. Though I can make it out, but still I cannot help it. So we must stop doing that. How? Now it is always, as I say, or always it is said, it is easier said than done. It is easier said than done. So what is it? That we must see that we learn the technique not to get attached. Not to get attached. We must learn this technique not to get attached. That means we must know how to detach ourselves. But there is an interesting aspect in this, that when we get attached, to anything, like our family or this whole thing, whatever is there, whatever is going on around us. Whenever we get attached, we give various sorts of excuses that, it is upon me that everything depends, and if I am not there, then this will not happen, or it is not going to go on. I am so important. I add my importance and make me feel, I delude myself that if I am not there, then it is not going to happen. It is going to stop. My family is going to stop. Or this world is going to end. I delude myself. If I die today, nothing is going to stop. Nothing. My family will be doing good. If I have the capacity to come back and see after 10 days or after 20 days or even after 1 month, if I have the capacity, we don't have it luckily, if we had that capacity to come back after our death, after maybe a month or after maybe 2 months and see my family, I will be astonished. Because no one is waiting for me. Things are going on nicely. And I thought if I am not there, then everything will stop. This is, I delude myself. We hypnotize ourselves and feel that if I am not there, then things are not going to work. I hypnotize myself. We are self-hypnotized. There is a very beautiful story in this respect, that in a place in one satsang, so there was a disciple who went along with many others, and there he was there sitting and listening to his guru, and the guru was talking about the same thing, about attachment and detachment, and said that your family, that the goal of our life is self-realization, God realization or liberation. So we must try hard to liberate ourselves and not get much engaged in these worldly matters. So he was listening, and he loved his guru very much. So he was listening to the guru, and he thought that yes, what my guru is telling is okay, but my guru is a sannyasi, so he doesn't know what a family is, what is the responsibility of the family person, the duties of a family person, and this and that. He was just thinking of that, and that my family clings to me, and it is because of my family. This is another aspect, I say, which we again self-hypnotize ourselves, that it is because of my family, it is because of my worldly affairs or worldly matters, or because of my worldly engagements, that I am not able to get liberation. That this world is the hindrance in my path of liberation. Nothing, my dear, is an hindrance to the path of, or on the path of your liberation, except your mind. That mind which is attached to everything, which is self-hypnotized, only that mind, just that mind, is the cause of our misery, is the cause of our bondage, is the cause of our suffering. Nothing else whatsoever. Nothing else whatsoever. So this disciple, he was just thinking that, it is because of my family, there are so many duties and these and that, family engagements and so many things, responsibilities, which does not allow me to, go for self realization or God realization, to become free. And when everyone left after the satsang, the disciple was there. He was there to stay for some days and then go back to his house. So the Guru said, what are you thinking? He said, Guruji, it's okay what you have said, but family is a big thing, and it is because of my family that I'm not getting the chance to strive for God realization or self-realization. The Guru said, you see, family is not your problem. Family is not the hindrance in your path of liberation. He said, no, Guruji, you don't have a family, so you won't understand. Actually, there are so many engagements in my family, so many works and so many responsibilities and duties that we have to do that, it doesn't allow us, it doesn't give us the opportunity or the time to, let ourselves engage in this God realization and all these things. The Guru said nothing, he kept quiet because he understood that he is not going to understand. That is what is self-hypnotization. We hypnotize ourselves with all these things. So, he said, okay, you are going to stay tonight in the ashram. He said, yes, Gurudev, I am going to stay in the ashram tonight. So, he said, okay, fine. So, you do one thing. You stay in the night, and tomorrow in the morning you will be going for a morning walk. Because I go for a morning walk every day, so tomorrow I will be taking you because you have, after a long time come to the ashram and you have got the scope to stay for a few days. So let us go for a morning walk tomorrow, early in the morning. He said, okay, Guruji, you just call me whenever you are ready to. He said, okay. Next day early in the morning, the Guru summoned his disciple and said, come on, I am ready to go. And the disciple was also ready. They both went. They were just walking by the roads, It was a wonderful place, full of trees, big trees on either sides of the road. And they were just walking, speaking on spirituality, the Guru, the disciple asking various questions and the Guru answering it. When all of a sudden, the Guru ran to a tree and he just hugged the tree tight. He just embraced the tree, he hugged the tree tightly. Now this disciple, he was amazed. He was just, like in an awkward position, what to say, what to do, means what not to say and what to do. And he said, Guruji, what is this? Guruji said, what, you help me? And the Guru was shouting, help me, help me. This tree has embraced me and it is not ready to leave me. Please help me to leave this tree, to come out of this. Now the disciple was really dumbstruck that what is it? My Guru, I have seen my Guru going to the tree and clinging to it, hugging it. And now he is shouting that this tree has, it has catch hold of me and it is not letting me go. And you please save me. And he came near to the tree and he said, Guruji, what are you doing? He said, come on, help me. This tree is not leaving me. It is not letting me go. You please help me. The disciple laughed that, oh, Guruji, you are clinging to the tree. The tree did not hug you, or the tree is not catching hold of you. You have caught hold of the tree. Just leave your hands. The tree will leave you. The Guru smilingly saw at the disciple and said, did you understand? That the tree did not catch me. I caught the tree. And I am shouting that the tree has caught me and it is not letting me go. This is attachment. This is the cause of my suffering. And what is the cure? Leave your hand. Leave the tree. Leave the tree. And that will put an end to your suffering. That is why detachment, it's a very important part in our life. We know, to ask a child right from his childhood, he knows how to ask, but he doesn't know how to give. As beautifully said by Bhagavan, that a child right from his birth, nobody teaches him to ask, but he knows, but he has to be taught to give. So the self-realized persons, they teach you to give, to detach. Because until and unless we can give up, happiness is far away from us. We must know this technique of giving up. We must know the technique of leaving the tree. We think the tree has caught us. The tree has never caught you. It never caught you. You have caught the tree and you have caught it tight as you could. And then you cry and scream and shout that it is because of the tree that I am in bondage. No. Family is not your bondage. Nothing is the cause of your bondage. Nothing is the cause of your misery except your mind, your desires and your attachments, which does not let you go. That is the cause of your misery. So what we must know how to give up, how to leave our hands. Because that is the law of nature, that we have to give up. We have to give up. Nature will teach us, and if the more we try to cling to it, the more we try to catch hold of it, the more we try not to leave it, the more sufferings will be. Just remember this. Nature would as if catch hold of your throat and tell you to leave it. Come on, give up. And that is why, in the Indian tradition, in the Indian family or in the Indian tradition, there is this, right from the childhood, a child is taught to give, to donate, maybe to the poor or to the sannyasi, to the monk, because learn to give. It is the nature which gives you, so you must have to return to the nature. You have to allow things let go. Like, when we build a house, we see that we try to make the house or the door and the windows south facing. Why? Because the southern wind will come. In India, of course, it is. I don't know how you make these things in abroad, but in India we always see to it that our houses, at least the windows are south facing, so that the southern wind can come and make the house cool. But at the same time, it is not just important to have a south facing windows. At the same time, it is also important to let the wind pass. So we need ventilators. We need a good ventilation. A house which has got a good ventilation, you will be always healthier in that house. A house which has got very poor ventilation, however beautiful that house might be, you are not going to be healthy there. you will be suffering. You will fall sick, because though it's a huge house and it's a very costly house, but the ventilation is not good. There are enough doors and windows to let the air come, but there are not enough doors or windows to let the air go. So that is why we have to have proper ventilation. That means give up. You must know how to give up. Else you cannot be happy. Else you cannot enjoy bliss. So learn the process to give up. And that is what is known as detachment. That is what we call detachment. To detach ourselves. And as said by the self-realized persons, the more you know to give up, the happier you will be. And what did they say? Just not to give up. Give up and don't look back. Give up and never look back. The moment you are looking back, you will, why are you looking back? Because there is an expectation. The moment you expect, you are going to suffer. That's for sure. So, give up and don't look back. Don't look anything in return. When you just do for the sake of doing, that is when you become free. I did it just for doing it, just for the sake of doing. I love doing it. So, even at one time Swami Vivekananda also said that we teach our our children to focus on things, to concentrate, to meditate. Meditation means to concentrate, to focus, to put our mind on one subject. So we give stress on that, on meditation. So we teach them meditation. That means how to concentrate our mind on one particular subject for a long time. And he said, but it is at the same time very much necessary to teach them how to just detach their mind from that. Because focusing means, to concentrate means to put my mind, to give my mind on that single topic or single thing for a long time. But at the same time, we must also teach them the process, how to remove the mind, how to take up my mind, how to give it up from that subject, how to remove my mind from that subject. It is very much necessary. And that is the cure. The cure is detachment. And that is what the scriptures say. The Srimad Bhagavad Gita beautifully says, one of the best scriptures on Karma Yoga, which says that we know that beautiful verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is much celebrated, which says karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have only the right to perform the work and not to its fruit, not to its result. That means detach yourself. Whenever we look for the fruit, whenever we look for the result, that means we are attached to it. Remove your mind. Give up. You have done that work, finished. But it is very hard to give up. Because, as I said, beautifully said by Bhagavan, that a child is never taught how to ask, but he must be taught how to give. So, it is very tough to give up. There is a very beautiful story of a great saint, a spiritual stalwart, Ramana Maharshi. And many of you have probably heard the name of Ramana Maharshi, that he lived in the south of India, and he was a great self-realized person. He was just astounding. He was beautiful. So one day he used to go to the hills, because his ashram, if you have been to the ashram, Raman Maharshi's ashram, Arunachalam, that place is known, that hill is known as Arunachalam. So he used to go to that hill, every day he used to climb the hill and again come back, meditate a bit in the caves. There are 2 caves there. So one day he brought a stick with him, and the whole day he was just making the stick beautiful, just polishing it and making it very beautiful so that it will help him to climb the hill. So the whole day he was just concentrating in making the stick beautifully, shaping it, polishing it, and the stick became really nice. It became a wonderful stick. And he went with the stick to the hill. And as he was going, there was a shepherd who was coming back with his goats and all his cattle, And Raman Maharshi was very famous as a saint there. So everyone knew him, everyone had great reverence for him. So this shepherd, he was coming back, he was coming from that coming back to his home with his cattle after they have grazed in the fields, in the hills, and they were coming back, and Raman Maharshi was just going on the other way. So they happened to cross each other. When this shepherd, he just paid his reverence to Raman Maharshi, that Raman Maharshi Pranam. He also said, okay, fine. And he saw the stick in the hand of Raman Maharshi, a beautiful stick, a beautiful shaped and polished stick. And he said that, Maharshi, you have a beautiful stick. And Raman Maharshi said, do you like it? He said, yes, very much. Raman Maharshi said, take it. He gave the stick without a second thought to that shepherd. But all the day long he was working with the stick, shaping it, polishing it, making it fine so that it will help him to climb the hill, go up the hill. But without a second thought, when the shepherd said, he did not ask even, he just praised it, that Maharshi, it's a beautiful stick. which I see in your hands. He just asked, do you like it? He said, yes. He gave it smilingly. This giving up is the cure of our misery. And believe me, the satisfaction, the pleasure, the bliss, the enjoyment that you get in giving up, you don't get it while taking. When you take, when you receive, there is a enjoyment, there is a happiness. But you cannot compare the happiness of giving up with receiving. It is much, much, much more. It is incomparable. Provided, there is one condition, provided you do not look back for the result. If you do so, your happiness is gone. So give up and don't look back. Don't look back to see if the man or if the person whom you have given has appreciated you or he is showing his gratefulness to you. Don't look back to even see this. Because if you do, you are undoubtedly and surely you are requesting misery to come to your house. So never do that. Give up and don't look back. And remember, in receiving, we get happiness. But the happiness, the satisfaction, the pleasure that we get in giving up, there is a beautiful story, that love to give. Just don't give it because you must give it. Love to give. Once Sri Krishna, and we all know that, Yudhishthir was a great donor. He did great charities. And Karna, his cousin, he was also a great donor, a cousin of Yudhishthira. Not cousin, his brother actually. His brother was not cousin. So his brother was also a great donor. But it is said that there were many donors, but not one like Karna, not even Yudhishthira. So Arjuna has this, because the Pandavas, they came to know that Karna was their eldest brother later on, just before the war, Kurukshetra. Because Kunti hid the fact that he is her eldest son and the eldest brother of all the Pandavas. So Yudhishthira was also doing many charitable works. He did many charities, and Karna also did many charities. But it is said that there was none like Karna. So Arjuna had this dilemma in his mind. He had this doubt in his mind that why Karna? Why not my brother? Because he also did not know that Karna was his eldest brother. But he knew that Yudhishthira was his eldest brother. So he had this in his mind, that why Karna? Why Karna is regarded as is regarded greater than my brother Yudhishthira in doing charities. So Sri Krishna understood this. And one day he said, "Come on, Arjuna, let us visit Yudhishthira. Go to the palace of Yudhishthira and let us see him." They went and they said that it was rainy season, so Sri Krishna and Arjuna went to them and said that they went in disguise so that Yudhishthira or others cannot recognize them. So he said that Krishna and Arjuna went in disguise and said that we are thinking of doing a yajna, a sacrificial fire, so we need some sandalwoods. In those days, even now in yajnas, sandalwood are being used. So he said that we need some sandalwoods to perform a sacrificial fire. So you being the king, if you can please provide us some. He said, "Yes, why not? Sure." And that very moment he ordered his persons to go to the woods and cut some sandalwood and give to those two persons, not knowing that they were Krishna and Arjuna. So his order was followed. Sandalwood trees were cut and brought, but as it was rainy season, so the trees were wet. They were drenched by rainwaters. Anyway, they went back, thanked the king, Yudhishthira, and went back. Then they said, "Okay, come on, now let us see. Let us go to Karna." They went to Karna and said the same thing. And Karna said that, "Yes, surely your desire will be fulfilled. But you see, now it is rainy season, and if I cut woods, it will be all wet. So just give me some time." He cut down his doors and windows, which were made of sandalwood, because he was also a king, and in those days the palace of the kings, the doors and the windows which were made of wood were made of sandalwood, not how we make them today. So they used to have doors and windows of sandalwood. So he just cut down his windows and doors and windows and offered to Krishna and Arjuna. They came back, paying their reverence, thanking Karna. They came back. And while coming back, Krishna says to Arjuna, that, "See, Arjuna, what is the difference? Had we told Yudhishthira to cut down his doors and windows and give, he would have done so. But he must have been told to do so. But Karna was not said to do so. He did it from himself. He did it of his own because he loves giving it. It is not his duty. He does not do that act of giving as duty. He loves to give. While on the other hand, Yudhishthira also gives. He also does charities, but he does it as a duty of a king. That a king has the duty of doing charities. That is why he does charity. But Karna does not perform charities out of duty, out of the sense of duty. He loves to give. And that is why, without a second thought, without our request, he cut down his doors and windows so that we can get dry woods, dry sandalwoods to perform the sacrificial fire. This giving up. Never mind, we don't have to cut our doors and windows because nowadays everything is of steel and other materials. We don't use woods nowadays. It's so costly. So that is why know or learn the technique to give up. And remember, again I say, I put stress on it again and again. There is happiness in receiving, but much, much, much more is the happiness in giving up. And while you give up, always remember never to look back to see the result of your giving up. That is the cure for misery. The cause is our attachment to our desires, our attachment to things or persons or whatever they are, and the cure is to give up. So learn to give up, and our self-realized souls of the scriptures, they always inspire us to do so. They always tell you, give up, because that is the law of nature. If you don't give up yourself, nature will catch hold of you. It will stand on your chest. It will catch hold of your throat and make you give up. But don't wait for that time. Because once nature catch hold of you, we know how it can be, how terrifying the time that we are going on, passing on right now, how terrifying it is, how, dangerous it is. So don't wait for the nature to catch hold of your throat and to bound you to give it up. On the contrary, give up yourself. You will find the pleasure. You will find the cure to your misery. You will find happiness. You will find bliss. Remember, enjoying bliss is not so easy. Again I say, because not only the self-realized persons, even God incarnates like Sri Ramakrishna, or even we have seen Sri Bhagavan, the founder and core of the International Vedanta Society, we have seen him praying to the Almighty that, "O God, please let me enjoy bliss. Do not make me miserable." So, know or learn how to give up, and also at the same time pray to the Almighty that, "O God, please help me to enjoy bliss. Do not make me miserable." So with this we come to the end of today's session. The next few minutes I will be trying to give or reply to your questions if there are any. I don't know if I have got some questions till now. Let me see. I'm a bit sorry today to our viewers on YouTube, because there are some technical problems in the YouTube due to which we are not able to connect to you for a long time, or there have been many problems while connecting to you, and for this we apologize you, but it is not in our hands. As you know, everything is not in our hands, though it seems so. So we apologize to our viewers on YouTube. And if you ever see again that such things are happening, you can just switch on to our Facebook page, where we are live at the same time. So I would request you that if the next time if you see such things, because it takes some time for us to, make all these technical things correct. So we don't want to waste that time. So if you have any questions here, I have got a question on Facebook from Sri S.K. Ghosh, that how can one exit from one's basic nature? You see, thank you Mr. Ghosh for your question. Now, what do you mean by basic nature? In reality, my basic nature is I am Atman or Brahma. So you cannot get rid of that. That which is your real nature, you cannot get rid of that. That is my real nature. The other things which I know, all these things, attachment, greed, or anger, lust, envy, jealousy, whatever we know these things to be our basic nature, though they are not our real nature. In our real nature, we are the ever divine, ever free, ever pure, birthless and deathless Brahman. That is our real nature. But here, as I can understand from your question, by the word basic nature, you are trying to refer to these things. So for that, you have to hear about your real nature time and again. You have to hear about that. Only when we come to know the reality, that we get out of, or we can get rid of the illusions or the hypnotism which we have induced upon ourselves. Actually, we are all self-hypnotized. So in order to break this hypnotism, we have to know the reality. So what is the reality? You have to hear about it, because you cannot know the reality just in one day or just in a few days. Yeah, if you are really eager and if you are really sincere, then you can. It's not that you cannot, you can, but that needs a tremendous amount of sincerity and earnestness. So, yes, that is what I am telling, our attachment. So for that, getting rid of that attachment, what we really need is, we have to know about, or we have to hear about the real nature of ourselves again and again. And we can, when we gradually come to know about or hear about our real nature, this puts an impression, this gives an impression on our mind gradually. This gives an impression on our mind. And a time comes when these things dehypnotizes us and the illusion goes away. So in order to get rid of our attachment, we must hear about the self, and we must also at the same time practice to give up. Practice. And that is why in the austerity part of spirituality, you are said to do some selfless activities. Why? So that you know how to give up, and at the same time you purify your mind. Doing charitable works won't lead you to liberation directly, but indirectly it will help you, because it will purify your mind, and at the same time it will also enable you to give up. It will teach you to give up and also to enjoy the satisfaction that you get in giving up. So, hear about the real nature of yourself time and again so that you can dehypnotize yourself and do some selfless work where you teach yourself to give up, where you learn the process, the technique of giving up. All these years we have been receiving, what did we give? Yeah, we gave, so many things, but to whom? To my family, your wife, your children, your parents, your friends, not to them. Of course you will be giving them, but at the same time don't expect anything from them. And also do something from others, for others whom you really don't know, who are so-called strangers to you. Do something for them. Learn to give up. And most importantly, time and again, go on listening about the real nature of yourself. This will help you get rid of your self-hypnotism. So, I think with this, I will finish today's live session. We'll be back with you on Thursday, the coming Thursday, with our Bengali session. And yes, again I say to my friends, either on Facebook or on YouTube, that whenever you face some technical problems, because there are many technicalities which are there now, and we are facing some problems for which we apologize, from the core of our heart. So if you perchance see any such technical difficulties, please switch on from either Facebook to YouTube or YouTube to Facebook, because we are going live with both of these at the same time. Thank you once again, and thank you for bearing with us, and thank you for having this wonderful session with us.